What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today, this is the commencement of my league racing series, the one that I did on F1 2016 with the Aussie Sim Racing Championship. This is on Xbox One, and before we get involved, stuck into this video, sorry, this is only a pre-season race, so the purpose of this this video and also this race is really just to test what the connections are like, me being the host, seeing what F1 2017 is like as a kind of stability standpoint, if there's any bugs, glitches, or anything like that, just seeing how it all works in a league racing format. So the preseason race here today is at Austria, so it's a decent track for me. I often go fairly well here, so I'm quite looking forward to getting stuck into it today. But if you're new to my channel and you didn't see any of my F1 2016 videos, this is an online league racing series where, a bunch of us come together every week and we race each other to see who can become the champion of Aussie Sim Racing. I'll leave a link to a video from last season. It's just the season montage, just basically shows you all the highlights and lowlights of what happened in last year's season. I think it's one of my favorite videos. I always like doing montages, so check that video out, and you guys will pretty much be up to speed of what's going to go on this season. So heading into season 3, in F1 2017, we have a lot of the same guys returning, which is really great from a stability standpoint, and seeing all the rivalries from last season continue into this one as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. Had a major moment at the exit of turn 1 as well, at the end of my first flying lap, and I think Harry Ryan did the exact same thing in front of me, and I got sucked into doing that, so that was pretty interesting, a bit of synchronized spinning. But at the end of our first run, we end up in 4th place, somehow HO and Greekmaster topping the timesheets despite not setting a time, which is a little bit odd, but we'll ignore that. We're effectively only in 2nd place. New Zealand Ryan in front of me, only by a small margin. He's most likely going to be my teammate now for Season 3 of Aussie Sim Racing, and I'm going to be in the Ferrari. New Zealand Ryan will be in the Ferrari as well, but just at the time, all the car selection details and stuff, they weren't locked down. But at the time of me actually recording this video now, I can confirm that I am in the Ferrari. Fitcho is going to be in the McLaren. Oh my god, it's Joe. He's going to be in the Mercedes, partnered with Greekmaster. And apart from that, a lot of the car selection still hasn't been finalized as of yet, so I'll let you guys know what happens with that later on when we get closer to the start of the season, which could be as soon as next week, depending on how good this race goes. But final run of the session, and we're going to get our final lap in here with short qualifying for F1 2017. It really puts you under pressure to get a lap in. Qualifying is going to be a bit more of a gamble, shall I say, in F1 2017, because you just don't have time to get 3 runs in, and if you stuff up your first run, then you are absolutely toast. But here you can see us on our final run here. We're currently purple to the first sector, up by 0.8 of a second, 0.08 on New Zealand Ryan, I believe, who set the next fastest middle sector. He actually goes purple himself into the 5s, and that should be him on provisional pole position. At least should get him on the front row, possibly for this Austrian Grand Prix. But for me, though, we're looking pretty good. We're up by almost 4 tenths. We actually go through that fast left-hand, over 4 tenths now. And this should be a very good lap. Sizing up the final 2 corners now. And this is really scary stuff. You just got to guess your turning point. I think it's the 50-meter board. Turn in. It's really sensitive with the steering, and with the strict corner cutting rules, it is so easy to either cut a corner or extend, and your lap is over. But thankfully enough, though, for us, we get the lap in, and it says we go 4th place, but we are only 1/100th of a second away from New Zealand Ryan, and it does put us on the front row of the grid alongside our teammate New Zealand Ryan. And the gaps are very, very tight in this Austrian Grand Prix. We've got Dominator in 3rd place. He's a new guy. He wasn't exactly in the last season, at least from what I can remember. AOR Charlie, looks like he stepped up his pace massively versus last season. He's in 4th place. Guys like Fitcho, Brock Does Stuff, HO, oh my god, it's Joe, all down the order, so they have a lot of work to do for the race. And when you start down the order in these league racing videos, it is very easy to get tangled up in accidents. And you guys know full well from my last season how often you know, we were either in the pack and got caught up in lag incidents, or just other people's crashes, or just bad luck in general really prevented us from going towards the title. But this season I really want to make sure that I'm always at the front, always keeping my head clean, out of trouble, and just being consistent over the course of the season. That's what's going to win us the championship this year, hopefully. But here we go, ready for this pre-season race. 5 red lights, and it's going to be the 2 teammates fighting it out for the race victory here today, and we are underway for the Austrian Grand Prix. It's an okay start, a little bit of wheel spin as we shifted up into second gear, but we should maintain second place as we head into turn 1. Fairly, you know, standard stuff for us at the front. There's a bit of kerfuffling going on back there in the midfield around 10th place, and for us it's a very clean start. This is why you always want to be at the front in these league racing videos. It's just so easy to get caught up in accidents. Just like you saw there, we got a tag there from AOR Charlie, who went in a little bit deep. On board with Fitcho here in the McLaren in P14, and he's out. Fitcho is out of the Grand Prix after just 2 corners. That is exactly what happens when you're in the pack. And unfortunately for Fitcho, didn't have enough time to react, and he probably thought the car, the Force India, was going to ghost. Unfortunately, it didn't, and he is out of the Grand Prix. Thankfully though, there are no points on offer for this race. It's like an exhibition match, shall we say. So we're all going to be going for it quite a bit, just you know, seeing what we can do, and maybe pulling off some really gutsy moves that we wouldn't otherwise go for, possibly in the regular racing series. But anyway, lap 3, we're settling into the race quite nicely. We're pulling away from AOR Charlie, who has dropped a few places. Warden now finds himself up in 3rd. New Zealand Ryan, after the first lap, got out a bit of a gap. I'd say it was around 2 seconds after we got tagged by Charlie, but now it looks like, if anything, we're starting to close him in. A bit of oversteer, and the 3-second penalty for track extending turn 1, which is yeah, it sucks. It's pretty annoying. If you get 3 warnings for either track extending or corner cutting, you get a penalty, and that's 3 seconds every time. So yeah, that's all of our chances out the window now. And New Zealand Ryan, after 6 laps, has dived into the pits now to go on to a set of super soft tyres. So he's definitely doing the 2-stop today. We're doing the 2-stop as well, but we're going to stay out for another 2 or 3 laps and pit around lap 9 and see how this race goes. In all honesty, I thought Ryan dived into the pits way too early. I don't know if he did 2 laps on his starting tyres, and maybe he's really suffering for tyre wear, but either way, I feel like he might be heavily compromised for the rest of this race, and we're going to try and run our own race by stopping later and having fresher tyres for the majority of the race. And I think we can find an advantage there. Even though Ryan will get the undercut, he might emerge in some traffic as well, depending on how, well, given how early he did stop. But either way, coming into the pits now for our first stop, a little bit conservative. I didn't want to get a drive-through penalty or anything like that. I just want to kind of build my pace, and maybe the next time we dive into the pits, we'll take it a lot more quickly, with a lot more confidence, and make up a bit more time. But as we rejoin on the track, still 3rd place at the moment. We get overtaken by Ryan, who does get like a 3-lap undercut on us, and Harry Ryan gets in front of us as well. So yeah, we've got a lot of time to make up. I think Ryan is about 5 seconds ahead, something like that, maybe even more. But for the rest of this race, we are severely going to close in on him due to the harsh nature of the tyre wear around this track. Harry Ryan going defensive into the fast right-hander. He actually might be going into the pits though, so we'll have to leave him a bit of space. Really awkward for us though, but we cleanly negotiate that, and we work our way into 4th place. So now the goal is just to chase down Ryan for the next 20 or so laps. We've got Warden doing a 1-stop, and we've also got Dominator as well in 2nd place, backing him up on the very same strategy. So come the end of the race, it could be very close on the 1 versus the 2-stop. I'm not too sure which is going to come out on top though. I think with our tyre wear, I don't think we could have pulled off the 1-stop. You can see Dominator now coming into the pits, putting on the soft compound tyres, and he will run to the end of the race. So yeah, he doesn't have to make a pit stop, and he will rejoin about 7-8 seconds behind us. Warden stops on the very next lap. I believe they're teammates, at least in this race. I'm not entirely sure, but either way, lap 13. We're closing in on Ryan. You can see the gap was about 5-6 seconds. You can see now it is 3.6 seconds. So we're keeping an eye on that delta. It's continuously coming down. We've just got to be consistent and fast. Getting penalties though really isn't going to help our cause as we go through the final corner there. I think Ryan had a little bit of an incident there on his own. He got a bit of oversteer off that final corner on the curve there. And I've got to say, I don't know if it's the way that we set the car up or just the nature of the circuit now in F1 2017 with the handling model, but it was really easy to get oversteer, and I've learned early in the first stint that I really had to look after my rear tyres in order to extract some good pace in the second half of stint. So on the ultra soft tyres, I was quite struggling for tyre wear, really close to Ryan there as we almost ran into the back of him. He was all locked up and braking a little bit early as well though, but yeah, I'm making an effort to look after my rear tyres in this stint, and hopefully that can help us out for the rest of this race, given that Ryan will be struggling for tyre wear. Hopefully we can get the jump on him. You saw Quicksilver there kind of lagging. He was going really slow. I think his car was desynced and then it disappeared after we overtook him. So there's a lot of lag going on in this race, and I was in the party chat with you know, Fitcho, Pomps to the Wind, all those guys, and they were really complaining about lag. Ryan lets us go through there on the run into the penultimate corner, and that gives us the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. I'm not too sure why Ryan did that. I initially thought he might have been coming into the pits and wanted to have a bit of clear track as a nice approach, but he carried on and gave us the lead. So I'll take it, I guess. I'm not too sure why he did that. Maybe he just wanted to maximize his own race by running a good pace and staying in the slipstream with me, but it didn't quite work out for him though, as I decided to turn the wick up. Someone's re-emerged on the track. That was Quicksilver. You'll see there's no one on the track there, but as we look behind and then look in front of us again, he appears, rejoins on the track, and we almost run into the back of him there. So yeah, a lot of desyncing going on in this race. It's only been with Quicksilver so far, but apparently according to the other guys, there were more people who were lagging about and stuff like that, which is really annoying. It might push back the start of the season potentially. But you come into the pits now on lap 23. This will be our final stop onto super soft tyres, and we'll be running to the end of the race. Ryan has pitted on the previous lap, so he will get an undercut, but not quite as much as what he did in the first stint. So this will be actually quite tight now in terms of the positioning on the track. If I put in a good out lap, which I think I did, we should be able to rejoin in front of him. He's actually gone for the ultra soft tyres in the final stint. Why is he gone for that? That is really weird. With 13 laps to go, or 14 laps, he's expecting his ultra soft tyres to last that long. Buddy, they're not going to last that long. He puts in the fastest lap of the Grand Prix for now, but his tyres are going to be absolutely shot in the final 5 laps of this race. Yeah, so I'm just going to push on and make sure he doesn't catch me. Pomps of the Wind is out. He's lost his front right tyre, so he'll be pretty frustrated to crash out there. He normally finishes every race he competes in, but meanwhile the guys up ahead are squabbling away for second place. That's Dominator, and also a left down car in P7. It's a Force India. No, it's actually Fun Guru. My apologies. It's 9th and 10th place battling away. So Fun Guru lets us go through. Thank you very much for that. He also let Ryan go through. But yeah, Ryan on the fresh ultra soft tyres. I wanted to be as fast and consistent as I possibly could to keep him away and make sure he didn't overtake me. The longer I could keep him at bay, the more likely he wasn't going to overtake me, because by we get to around lap 30, I really feel like he was going to be slower than us due to his tyre wear. But we got another corner cutting penalty, which is you know, pretty frustrating. I think I was distracted at the time and just made a silly mistake. So with all these corner cutting penalties we're going to have to fix that up before we get to the start of the season. We can't afford to be just giving away 3 seconds here or there for, you know, tiny mistakes for corner cutting or slight track extending. But lap 29, we've caught up to Dominator. This is the guy that he is actually fighting with. It's the Force India. That's a lap down in P7. I think he's recently gone onto fresh tyres, and yeah, he's holding him up a little bit. But now we've caught up to him. We're in striking distance now. Rich revs, and we're going to go to the outside into turn 2 and see if we can bang him round the outside here. He does have much older tyres, and I thought, yeah, we could probably pull this off if we just go around the outside. Wasn't quite the case there, but it's going to be on again as we head into turn 3 now. Rich revs, DRS, and again it's going to be the outside. If we go really late like Daniel Ricciardo, I think he did a couple of years ago, we can get the move done, and there we go, second place. Next up is Warden. He's a few seconds up the road though as we negotiate that lap car, who lets us go through. The gap is about 3 seconds, so we've got 6 laps to catch him. We're significantly faster on a very compromised one stop. Warden, he's done so well to look after his tyres at this point, but I don't think he'll have all too much to play with in terms of car pace to defend us from here. We go to the inside here. This wasn't an overtaking maneuver. This was me just saying, Warden, I'm here, and I'm not going to muck around when it comes to trying to overtake you, but I actually got a lot closer than what I was anticipating. It looks like his tyre wear really is quite bad. But lap 33, getting really close to Warden now, just trying to see where we are faster. It seems we got a nice run off of turn 1, so we might have a go into turn 2 here as we go up the hill in the slipstream. The car in front always chugs along very slowly. It makes life very easy for the car following, but either way, we go round the outside into turn 2. Warden gives us the Rosberg squeeze, and unfortunately, we just oversteered into his path, and that was really messy for the two of us. And now, what I thought was going to be third place getting into the battle, it's Ginger Horizon in 7th place, a lap down, overtaking both the race leaders and getting involved in the fight. If this wasn't a preseason race, I would have been absolutely raging. I think I was a little bit angry at the time, but yeah, that was absolutely mental. We're going back up the inside of Warden with only 3 laps to go. It will be basically 2.5 laps to go now, but yeah, this race is quickly coming to a close now. Hopefully that lap car can just get away now and we can pretty much resume the battle where we were without having to get involved in anyone else. Dominator is actually catching back up to us due to the intense squabbling we just had on the previous lap. We got a nice run into turn 1. We're not going to overtake him though. We wanted to make him brake really late and possibly compromise his run through turn 1. Didn't really work though. I, if anything, got the worst run out of turn 1, and that kind of delayed my progress for about a lap. But we got a nice run out of the final corner. Standard revs. We're going to try and go slow and fast out here through the first corner. Lean revs just to avoid any wheel spin and get a nice exit, which I believe has worked. So once again, it is overtake for the lead, take 2, and we're in the exact same position to the outside. We go really late on brakes, and the mid-quarter speed wasn't great there, so I wasn't able to effectively take the lead there. But it is side by side on the back straight between the two of us, basically touching tyres. And again, we're going to have to pull off the move around the outside into the right-hander. I see that Warden goes in too quickly. I brake even more, go slow and fast out, and we get him on the switchback. And that is us into the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix with just 2 corners to go. I mean, two corners, 2 laps to go. I was so happy with that, to actually get the lead there. And with a really smart kind of counter-attacking move, we got the lead back. And I don't think we'll see Warden for the rest of this race due to his tyre wear being that high. But unfortunately, just a few corners later, Warden and also Dominator got disqualified due to not running the mandatory tyre, which is a little bit bullcrap. That is a glitch, and their positions will be reinstated for this race. But for us though, it's first place for the ASR preseason race, and what a way to start things. So there we go, guys. That has been the ASR preseason race for Season 3 of F1 2017. We win the race. New Zealand Ryan comes home in second, 6.8 seconds behind. It looks like we all struggled for corner cutting penalties. I think we were all pretty rusty on the league racing side of things. But yeah, we had a lot of guys who were involved in incidents, whether it be lag or just crashed out or whatever. So yeah, I'd hazard a guess to say that the season will not start next week. We might wait for another patch from Codemasters to make the online a little bit better, because from what I heard from the other guys, the online isn't quite raceable as of yet. But for me, I was very happy with that race, happy with my pace and consistency. I was quite worried that I was going to jump onto this game and actually be quite slow. That often happens. As each game comes out, I just get slower and slower and slower, but after F1 2016 and getting up to the grips with that game and just practicing a lot, I think it really has helped me as well with doing the F1 esports thing last week. It really brought me up to speed on what I needed to do to get the job done in terms of, being quick on this game. So that's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more F1 2017 content. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll probably let you guys know when the season is going to start. Like I said, I don't think it'll be next week, maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks' time, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Hopefully we'll be gunning for the title, and yeah, we'll see how many wins we can get from the season, and just, yeah, hopefully we can get a lot of really good races as well. But that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.